Good morning. Happy Sunday to most of you. Hello, Dolly and Darren. Dolly and Darren. Sounds like a Hallmark Christmas channel special. Should have been Holly and Darren, maybe. But I'm awake. Took a very early, I'll call it a nap. 'Cause it was only about 4 hours, 5 hours, maybe 5 hours, 4 hours, whatever. Jeannie Bobaney's here. Nania's here. Police officer's here. That was the name of a clone sheep police officer, but not this Dolly. She is original. You might know Dolly from the original Adam and Eve story in the Bible. She's actually Eve, but she likes to change her name. She's a mother, all right. What are you all doing up? Y'all need to get some sleep medicine. Well, Darren has a good excuse. It's a normal, decent time. The rest of you should be sleeping. I'm sorry, Dolly. Oopsie boopsie doopsie. My mistake. I almost called this the bitching hour, but it was an hour ahead. I think 3 o'clock's the witching hour, so maybe 2 o'clock could be the bitching hour. I hear it's a good time. Here's where you can get all your angst and frustration out. Then I could just delete it, private it. No one knows the better. Let me take a sip of my coffee. Mm. Ah. All right, enough formalities. I was going to do a very low key response, I guess. Not a response. Well, maybe reaction, maybe better to the live stream today, earlier, 12 hours ago, whatever, of Vigilant. He had a live stream today. I missed the first part, so I had to go back and listen. And then I popped in and out now, probably 2 hours in, whatever, hour, 2 hours, whatever, doesn't matter. I heard it all. I don't remember it all, but I heard it all. Hey, RC, what's up? Um, hmm, where to begin with my thoughts? Because I didn't make any actual notes. I just kept things in my head, which is a dangerous place for them to be. They could get jumbled and corrupted. Words. I want to start with words. Words are probably the second most powerful thing next to action. I have to show my work. I know. Um, Words and actions are probably the most impactful things that we as humans can do to one another and to our world. Words are very powerful, and they have different impact and meaning to certain people. Um, some of us have grown up to be told that this word is not good to use because it's offensive, and that probably comes from our parents. their parents, your brothers and sisters, your immediate family when or whoever you grew up with. And then we learn in school that some people don't like certain things. Generally, we can be decent about it. And if we don't happen to agree with what words are good, we can at least be civil towards each other. What I grew up with and what I was told and taught about words probably aren't, let me just say it. It's my channel. I'll hem haw around about as much as I want. It's going to make content. There is certain words like the C word, the N word. I didn't learn the N word was bad from my parents because they never used it when I was alive. I think my dad said he said it once. Um, but because it was commonplace where he lived, and then later he found out that, hey, that's, you know, not kosher to other people that were around him, like coworkers and stuff. They didn't care for that, so he learned rather quickly. Um, my mom told me if she ever heard me use the C word or the word bitch, I feel comfortable saying that one because women use it all the time towards each other. So if you want to be one of the girls, you have to say that word, I guess. Um, Plus, I like to bitch about things sometimes. If she ever heard me say those words towards her or another woman, she would hit me in the mouth till I bled. Um, and I was like, okay. Then that was because she didn't like it, right? So her biases about certain words were pressed onto me and the rest of the kids. And that's where I learned my first acceptable words. And s- generally, the people I grew up with, who are now adults, don't like the same words that I like. I don't like. And that's fine. That's, that makes it much easier. No one has to be uncomfortable and weird when someone blurts out something because we don't blurt out those words. She actually never did hit me, but she said she would. And I grew up in a generation in the 70s and 80s where you took your parents for your word. Nowadays, kids will be just like, yeah, fuck off, whatever, mom, and go do whatever they do. Um, when I got into school, I heard the word, the N word, and I saw the results of someone saying that word. Some kid got knocked in the mouth. I think he caught an elbow, intentionally caught an elbow because that word was offensive to people that were my friends. And so through action, people told me, "Hey, my word's bad." I guess my point is how I see it is, if you're going to use a word that can be offensive to some people, you have to know your audience. Um, I can say the sentence, "Boy, some people like to bitch all the time." That's not offensive to a woman, right? I would never use the C word towards a woman because even though my mom is dead and gone, she probably would come back and knock me in the mouth. And being hit by a ghost is probably more powerful than you could imagine. Um, if you're using a term that people may not like, you're expecting a reaction. You want that word to have an impact, or or that word has just been made so lexicon in your surroundings that it's just normal. But you have to remember it's not normal to everyone. So people can be offended by it. I don't like to hear women being called the C word. I know what happens if you're in person and you call a black person the N word. I know what can happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but I know what can happen. People get knocked the fuck out. Hey, it's just a matter of it's just a matter of being civil towards each other and not trying to push buttons and maybe having a little bit of, I don't know, awareness. I mean, if you're in a group of people that are either racist and or women haters, you're going to hear certain words, right? It's going to be free reign to tell and say things to people like that, in those kind of environments. But here on YouTube, as most things, I do believe that some people can say whatever they want and not have any consequences because there's not really a consequence. I know that Phil has mentioned something about standing up and saying something and speaking out about something when someone exhibits racism or any kind of other, you know, general hatred towards a group of people or whatever. How many times? Every time? Like, here's my thing. Speaking up, is it for you or for the other person? I get it. I mean, yes, you should stand up and say, "Hey, that's not right." But how many times do you have to do that to the same people or the same person? How many times is it going to be effective? Like you go around and just every time you hear the C word or the N word, will that be effective every time? Or we just, you know, there's getting to a place where you're just a echo chamber, or there's being effective. Many people do believe that not saying certain words is the right thing to do to be decent to people, but you're not going to change people. Change comes from internally for people. Most, I'd say 99% of people change internally because they want to, not because someone forces them to. So if you don't hear me say words, there's a reason. Now, it doesn't take away someone's right to speak up and say something, but the effectiveness of it has to be measured. Are you just a broken record or are you being effective? And if you feel you're being effective, then by all means, speak out about it. But when change happens, it's usually from the inside. So if someone's using language that you don't like, you harping at them isn't going to change it. There has to be an internal struggle for people to like, you know what? This isn't really getting me what I thought it was. People use certain words to agitate the fuck out of people. Police officer says, I know the history of what the word represents, and I also think normalizing it is a slippery slope and a step back for society as a whole. I lose respect for those who use it, but it's their choice too. Yeah, the choice part, the freedom of speech. Um, I was at work one night. There was a scuffle. I happen to have a really good friend. His name's Mondo. Uh, and he's black. Surprise! Here's the crux of the story. He was up there trying to get these kids out of the store, young college kids probably, I think. And one of them turned around and said, "You're a stupid MF and N word." Next thing you know, dude's on the ground. Mondo clocked his ass. No one knew that was happening. There was no buildup. It was snap, crackle, pop. Police came, took statements. Nothing happened to my friend, my coworker. It's hate speech. That was the consequence. Now, people may say, well, he has a right to free speech. He did. He had the right. He was able to say it, which is the really cool thing about free speech is unless you tell everyone you're going to say something ahead of time, they can't stop it. So free speech is pretty much built in. Now, once you consider after it is the consequence. So this college kid who thought he was going to impress his friends by ripping out the N word in the heat of a argument may not have considered the consequence of him ending up on the ground. Eh, not my friend's fault. Was he expressing his freedom of speech? Yeah, maybe. He was reacting to words, right? But the thing is, there is consequences. And if you don't recognize that, even on YouTube, there can be consequences, even though they're not, someone's not going to come and punch you in the mouth. Uh, People may have an opinion about it. We're pretty free to say a lot of things on here because you can't stop it. We don't have precog. This is Minority Report, where I know that someone's going to come in and say something dumb and stupid that I think is offensive and stop it before it happens. Now, all the onus is on the reaction, the consequence. So your freedom of speech has never been really infringed upon. Now, your continued right to free speech maybe, but you had the chance at the beginning to exhibit it. And on social media, you don't really have freedom of speech anyway, but you can be limited. So hearing everyone speak about words, I do agree with certain. I don't like the N word because I've seen the results. I wouldn't use it. If I used it, some of my friends in real life would look at me in a very strange, different way. I probably would lose some friendships because of the way the word affects them. If I called, if I started calling all the women here C words, Lindsey Graham died. Well, we weren't expecting him to die, were we? Huh. Well, shit. Damn it, Lindsay, trying to get in my newsfeed. Um, my friends would have a reaction to it. Yeah, and Janie, you know what? As creators, as people who are responsible for channels, I gotta look this up now. Damn it, Lindsay. I had a really good thing going here and you had to go fucking die. Well, shit. Why didn't they? I don't hear anything else about it. Oh, there it is. Okay. A brief and sudden illness. Oh, he just returned from Ukraine. Oh boy, there goes the conspiracy theories right there. Hmm. They asked for privacy during this incredible difficult period. A call for cardiac arrest at his Capitol Hill home on Saturday night. Police cars, fire trucks, and ambulances were on the scene of the site. Oh man. Well, I think this was done to deflect from Mitch McConnell's disappearance. I'm kidding. See, I could offend some people with that one, but that's sad. No, I wasn't expecting any news about anybody else but Mitch McConnell. Uh, that's sad. It's sad when people die. All right, Lindsay, enough time on my channel. I got to talk about other shit. Um, I'm so I'm so nice. And don't worry, if it was a Democrat interrupting my live stream, I too would be like, "Hey, that's enough time for you. Can't help you." Poisoned underpants. Yeah, I know. That's worse than the c word. Um, so yeah, I went back and listened to the first part of Phil's stream, and I get, look, saw the word misogyny used a lot. The word racist was brought up, racism, all the usuals, the ists were brought up, and I get it. People can be upset. You can't tell people not to be upset about something. We can't really regulate reactions and expect people to well, we can't expect people to feel the way we feel. Some people were raised in different ways on this country. He's 74, something like that. 71. Um, I think I had the opportunity to be a good conversation. I know there was some personal, personal issues going on. Lindsay, Lindsey Graham cracker, 71. Yeah. So I think I came in originally. I came into the live stream because no one told me that anyone was going live because I was, I guess, supposed to be kept out of the loop. I'm kidding. Um, I missed some bread person was in there making comments. I couldn't see him because they got removed. But they're damn, I lost my train of thought. Hold on. I think every one of my friends has done something that I have not liked. I don't think that there's a friend through my 52 years that has done everything perfect. And I wouldn't judge someone. It would have to be an egregious assault on who they are and what I feel for them to not be a friend after saying something, after doing something. Um, do I feel differently at the time and maybe for a few days after someone is offensive or says something I'm not really particularly happy about? Sure. But if you want to talk about being friends and being friendly with people, part of that responsibility is accepting who they are and what they can be. Unless they've totally pulled the wool over your eyes, you can pretty much tell the stretch of imagination where people will go with their behavior. Jeannie had a brain fart. Jeannie had a brain. Um, see what else was mentioned in that live stream. I should have took better notes, but I was sleeping when I was having the dream note thing. Um, there was no, I'm not getting to the big subject, which is here in a little bit. I remember this is probably out of order. These thoughts will probably be out of order. There was a moment where Lady Scrapper said to Phil, maybe instead of calling her that, you should have talked with her. And I thought that was a good suggestion. Um, I know it's really weird on YouTube because if something starts publicly, there tends to be a pattern to finish it publicly or to make it all public. I say this: if your intent is to make a public spectacle about whatever's going on, by all means, do everything public. Um, by all means, do your content. If it really matters to you, do it in private if you can. Uh, have the really tough. You can't really have a tough, hard, you know, um, emotion-based conversation with an audience. There's weird expectations that show up. It's best to have legitimate conversations in private if possible. Not because everyone's hiding the sordid details, but because you don't have to worry about everyone else. It's just you and that person. So for actual progress and resolution in the clear view sense, having a private conversation can be helpful. I do suggest everyone that they try to talk things out, ask questions. Everyone knows I love asking questions. I rarely get answers, but I love to ask questions because if you don't ask, you don't know. You'll never get an answer to 100% of the questions you don't ask. So, yes, could things be handled differently? I think we could all do that. Look back and say, huh, that was a shitty thing for me to do. I should have just taken care of that a different way, or that didn't work out the way I planned. Let's see what else happened. Okay, so I'm going to get to it, and this may be the sensitive part. I know, Melly, you're very, very guilty. Oh my God. Um, so here's the sensitive part that people may have issue with. So, and I'm going to try to be as real as possible, but this kind of hits me personally, so bear with me. When Black Eagle came up on Phil's panel, there was some juck and jiving and all that, whatever. And there seemed to be some trolls in the channel. They were in the chat and they were asking questions, throwing out, scenarios and asking like, well, what about when she did this? What about when she did that? Referring to Black Eagle's behavior towards myself and other people. And Phil's response was this: trolls are coming in asking questions. Why should I barely silly listen to trolls? Hmm. Okay. That's fair. in the sense that it's fair is that if you don't come in under your own name, you shouldn't get the recognition. And there's many reasons why people come in under alt accounts, sock accounts, whatever you want. That's a weird name. I wish that term would go away. It's a very old term. I don't think it really applies anymore. But people come in during, using alt accounts, obviously wanting to say things and ask questions that wouldn't be taken well if they did it under their own name. And people feel a certain way about that, whatever. Is the question invalid because of who asks it, or is the question valid regardless? Much like behavior. Like, does the question have any merit in and of itself, or does it have to be attached to somebody that is known? If I ask a question, hey, um, where's Melly at? Or a troll comes in and says, hey, where's Melly at? Is that legitimate? Because I think some of the questions had some basis, some good grounding basis. Well, sure. I mean, okay, motivation. Okay, let's make up a character so I don't offend someone and it gets clipped all weird. Let's say Wally Wally comes in, and I've seen Wally Wally around, and I say, "Oh, Wally Wally is a troll and a real hater and doesn't really like um, anybody that's socioeconomically poor." Okay, Jeff says that has some weight to it because people know who I am. If a troll comes in and says it, it's not as heavy. It doesn't carry as much merit because it's just a troll. Now I get that for the accusations and the whole like rumor, but a question is a question. Right, right, Evelyn. The criticisms. I think the question is a question in and of itself, attached to anyone asking. I think. Well, I mean, I guess we could have a whole discussion why people use alt accounts anyway. I have had contact with people throughout the years that usually have emailed me behind the scenes and said, "Hey, I come into your channel under this certain account because of XYZ." Okay. I don't really want people to know, but I kind of want to be involved. I want to join, but I don't want to be associated with my true identity that people know. Okay. That's fine. Um, so there were some questions asked. I think some of them were legitimate. I'm not going to say every one of them was just rage bait, and they were ignored. But these are the same questions that have been asked before by people that we know, by accounts that we know, names that we know, people that we have associated with, and they've been ignored. So I don't think it matters. in that instance. These aren't questions that have been originated only by trolls. These are the same line of questioning that people have brought attention to, asked many times, multiple times. There's been space and time given for people to respond, and yet nothing. I have personally asked why Black Eagle has responded a certain way to people in regards to the homosexual questions that she and accusations she's put out towards people, um, questioning someone's sexuality in response to something that is not anywhere near as insulting or down-putting. No response. Dismissive attitude. So I was watching because I wasn't really feeling like getting into it because I kind of have a feeling about how that would have went. But I was hoping for an answer because I think the questions were very similar to what many of us have asked before, and it wasn't going at someone. Much like Phil had questioned why Glowy has used the N word, and Glowy has asked Phil why she's white trash, and all the other little situations where people have asked, "Hey, why did you say this?" And I guess maybe some of those have been answered in some sort of way. That's all that was being done. But it's not, I guess it's not important to some people to be held accountable. So, okay. And yet people wonder why they're looked at differently than the rest of the crowd. Well, here's someone that could say what the fuck ever they want, make all the accusations, and just do the whole, you know, shitty behavior routine. And in the eyes of the public, I could see where people have said that Phil takes a certain bias towards Black Eagle. And I wonder, had I been available to come up on panel one, I guess we have to clear the panel if someone doesn't like it, or if I would have been allowed to come up and actually ask questions, and would he have helped facilitate an actual answer? Like, why does she go after people's sexuality or what she appoints as their sexuality when it's not true? What's all that about? And I kind of went back and forth, like, should I make time to go up for like 15 minutes and actually ask the question while she's there? Or is it just going to be conveniently swept under the rug again? And I decided it probably would have been swept under the rug. And then later I heard Phil say didn't hear it, or that only trolls were saying it. Something along that line. I may be paraphrasing incorrectly, but that's the way I remember it. So I said it. In fact, he responded to it. Well, your friends know you're not gay, good sir. Okay, that's not the point. The point is, from a knowledge point, why do you say those things? What is? What is that your go-to like insult? So it's yeah, it was I almost did and I thought I don't know. One, I don't think it's going to matter. Laura said something interesting too in the chat. She said that she has talked to Black Eagle about these things and she's explained it to her. Well, again, nothing against Laura. Good for Laura. She's got an explanation. But Laura wasn't the one that originally asked questions. So you're willing to talk about it, but not to the people that you actually said it to. I thought that was very interesting. Like people actually put up a live stream and asked you, what the hell are you saying this for? Crickets. Why is that your default? And to be honest, I'm just going to say this. If we bring up sobriety or alcoholism, it's a trigger point. But you accusing people of being lesbians or gays when they're not, and you know they're not, that's a okay. That's acceptable because she's who she is. Is it acceptable because who's saying it or what's being said? And the only thing was, again, it was a question. Why do you go there with people? Why is that your thing? And again, I don't think me appearing on panel, which I was kidding about not being invited. I know that it's the links there, you go up, but I was kind of busy at the time. Um, where would there have been answers? Would it have been dismissed? And I give people on here many chances, probably sometimes too many. It's by default how it's grown. Cat's rules here. All right, now shit can start. Um, I probably give too many chances. I like to keep the peace as much as I can, but I don't want to be. I also don't want to be that person because I know that I can be that person that will cut you off forever if you don't make me feel like I can trust you. Yeah, break her eggshells up, make them a pasty gob of mess. Dang nabbit. Now we got remind me. I'm just highlighting this not because of the comment itself, but that reminds me of something I want to talk about later. This might be an all nighter. I'm kidding. No, it's not. When I get tired, I'm going to go the fuck to sleep. You can hang around as long as you want. It just depends. Cat's rule. There was a year in my life where I let no one in. No one knew. Even my closest friends and family didn't really have good access to me. I was shut out. Oh, I shut out everyone. I cocooned myself because I didn't trust the world. I felt very, um, I guess, betrayed. I had one of those betrayed by God moments, and I wasn't very happy with how our justice system worked. And I was tired of being asked how I was doing. And so I mentally shut myself out of everything that was not vitally important to my life. Like I went to work. I think I showed up. I didn't show up to martial arts class for like 4 months, and when I did, I went one time a week for a year. But I know what that looks like. I know me asserting my boundaries are very flexible right now because I see different sorts of people in the world, and most of them are very, interesting. Not everyone's all bad, you know. I don't group people together just because of my experiences completely. Nah, Janie, you almost had me there. I was almost going to read that. Almost. Um. So yeah. Where was I before that little interlude? I get it, I have recourses to take. I can't be an asshole. There's a choice, right? These are choices. Recourses are choices. I can give the same energy back, or I can just not care as much when certain people just won't give the same respect. I would answer someone if I say something to someone and someone comes up and says, "Why'd you say that?" I will tell you if I meant it. I will tell you if I said it in anger. I will tell you if I was just kidding around and took it too far. I will tell you. Some people aren't capable of that. And I've not been egregious towards Black Eagle. I think if we were keeping points on the egregiousness and the hurtful, weird behavior and attitude, I don't think I would be in the winner's circle. My opinion. You may think differently. That's fine. But okay, so no, no progress in that area. We don't think that there's going to be any because it's just not important. And honestly, I think that she feels that she is protected enough where she's never going to have to be accountable. Okay. With that behavior being supported, I would ask the same. When I say shit later in the world, which I know I will, I want the same courtesy extended to me. Don't hold me accountable for shit. If I'm your friend, she's your friend, they're your friend. If you can't hold your friends accountable and call them out and do it the right way in a helpful, like, I'm your friend mode, and I see you not doing that and not following up with questions that your friends have asked, things you've actually seen done, please do not ask me to do the same because I will refuse on principle. Yeah, where was the hub flub about that? I mean, she went after, you know, I don't know if she went after, went at her. What was the, there was, oh God. I see, it was a really bad time because I was getting dinner stuff ready and we were all running around doing our things here, trying to get dinner and stuff, which was really good, by the way. Thank you for asking. But Carrie was saying something from the University of Texas. Damn if I cannot remember it now. Uh, oh, white trash. Is it a racist thing, right? Is it a white? Okay, so I don't know. What's the intent? You're white trash. I was always taught that's the equivalent of the N word for white people. Okay. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. That's what I was told. Um, when I think of white trash, I think of the Jerry Springer show. That kind of person, white trash. Doesn't necessarily mean people are poor either. White trash is a behavior method. Like it's like a personality set. Like you upgraded a character in a video game. Some people are like rich aristocrats. Some people are like, homophobic racists. Other people are like white trash. It's the way you handle yourself. I think there can be well-to-do white trash. It's more like how you present yourself to the world through behavior and living conditions and whatnot, but whatever. Um, no one here is an expert on race, I don't think. I don't think anyone here is a cultural, anthropologist, or well, some people are, but no one cares. Some people aren't adept at studying people to tell us what is or isn't a racist term. White trash, white being a race, because we don't have a cool name for it. It's Caucasian, right? Which sounds weird anyway, right? We need a better, cooler name. White trash is inherently, by the words included, racist. It is based on race. So, is it a racist term? And then I go back to this argument. Well, it's reverse racism. Let's not make it any more fucking complicated. It is racism, as defined by the United States of America and the government and all those cool people who keep all these statistics, is basically based on population percentage, right? Discrimination, racism, 51% of the people can't have racism towards them because they're the majority. I disagree with that. If you're attacking someone based upon their race, or you're excluding them because of their race, or you're limiting them in their freedoms of humanity based on race, that's racism. I don't care what color's doing what to who. Um, there's classes, and when it's the same race, it's like classism. Like you're breaking down your own race into like divisions, which is weird. So I don't know what that was all about. Like disagreeing with someone. Black people are not the only people who have experienced racism. Every human race has experienced people being against them, people limiting them and their freedoms of humanity based on their skin color, creed, religion, all the cool little divisions that we and labels we like to make in this world. And it doesn't really make much sense. It's a learned behavior. You're not born like if racist people had a baby and you took that baby away from them, that baby's probably not going to grow up to be racist. Racism isn't a God-given right. That'd be kind of stupid. I'm going to create creatures that hate each other, even though I made all these people different. Now I'm going to create people that hate them. That's counterintuitive. Racism is taught. hatred is taught, homophobia is taught. Um, Now, Evelyn was talking about emasculation, where people tear down men and try to, demasculinize them by insults and accusing them of certain things and not being, a certain, type of man that people are expecting. And I guess it's dewomanizing would be, I don't know what the actual term would be for a woman because I'm not a student of the arts, but isn't discount homophobia, which Black Eagle has exhibited towards people, wouldn't that also be emasculation? Hey, Coffee Nut, what's up? Wouldn't if you're homophobic or you're saying homophobic things about people, and phobic is fear, right? It's a weird term because I don't know if people are feared or they just hate. Like, I guess you call it homo hate, but besides the schematics of words and everything, which I don't want to get into too much, we have a resident person who likes to come in and do that occasionally. Yes. Um, isn't that a form of hate? Like homophobia, saying homophobic things, whether they're true or not, is that not a form of hate speech? Is that not on the one of the isms, one of the ias, one of the ists? What does Melly say? Yeah, I guess yeah, cutting in and if someone has a differing opinion, I like to default to this one. Why do you think that way? Like I may not understand it. I may be confused by it. I mean, I've never thought of it that way. My questions would be, why do you think that way? That one question right there, that fucks with people's heads so much. Like, how dare you ask me to explain myself? No, please do. It's not negative. It's not a put down. Try to explain, let me understand why you say that. Why do you say things like that? And that's all I was asking. Why does Black Eagle she's I originally saw her do it to Morgan, and then Morgan and Glowy were accused of being a lesbian couple, and we had to hear that oh, after it. Um, and then because I made a video and a couple of pictures with a black eagle in it, a bird that actually exists in the world. Um, for some reason, because I'm a clean person and I like to take care of the house and take care of things in the way that I'm organized, suddenly I'm gay. And it wasn't said like it was like, hey, if you were gay, great. It was like, you're gay. Why are you acting gay if you're not gay? Okay. Would you say that? If you're going to say shit, back it up. Now, some of my friends are like, oh my God, please don't continue this. Black Eagle is going through something. Or I don't see where she's done anything wrong or she's been good to me. I don't care. I don't have to care about someone that wants to be like that and not be held accountable. I would be held accountable. I've I've used this one for a long time with Phil. If I called Laura the C word, like we just disagreed and all of a sudden I said, you're a stupid C word. And I said it in anger. You don't think that I would be held accountable for it? You don't think that there would be a rapture brought down upon me? And I'm aware of that, by the way. I wouldn't do it. But I'm aware of what would happen. And I would expect the important thing, I would expect to be held accountable. And at some point I would probably say, hey, you know what? Piss me off. And much like Phil has said before, I probably said it to hurt you because in the moment that's all I had. If people just admit their weaknesses, basically racist or weak people who can't stand to share any kind of anything with people that they don't feel is equal to them, and they're afraid because the population's against them, right? Like the force is against them, not the force like Star Wars that's made up. Like a force of humanity is against them because they don't look like them, they don't act like them, they're criminals, they're whatever, they're undesirable people. In some cultures, you're the undesirable person. Always remember that. There's always a balance. You will fuck around and find out somewhere in this world that your skin color does not give you a pass to exist in the world. Your religion is not a pass to be an asshole. Your economic status will not get you everything you need. There are limits to everyone. But when you're asked straight up, hey, why do you say things? Why do you do this? Why are you the way you are? And you repeatedly don't answer, remember your behavior gives other people permission. Okay. And I'm going to go a little political for just a minute. So forgive me. Your behavior gives people permission to act just like you. And you can't say a fucking thing about it. You can't be, hey, whoa, wait. For example, politically, and this one's going to be a doozy, but if people went up to the Capitol right now and stormed it and broke things and people were injured, I expect them all to be pardoned and I expect no charges to be kept on someone. I expect everyone to be looked upon as heroes because that behavior has been shown to be rewarded. When you reward a certain behavior, it's giving permission for someone to do that behavior again. That's how kids learn. Well, we were throwing cars at the cars. We were throwing rocks at the cars because those two older boys did it, so we thought we could do it too. Um, the next person, if bad behavior is shown, if unacceptable behavior is shown by one person with no accountability, then everyone after them can come up and do the same thing, and you shouldn't ask questions. Like I feel like I can say anything I want now, and again, this is what I'm going to do, but this is what I can do now that I've been given permission. I can call people gay and lesbian. I can be derogatory towards their sexuality. I can say whatever I want about someone, and I expect no one to hold me accountable. I can call women the C word. I can use the N word if I want, and there's no accountability. I want the same treatment as other people are getting, and that's where society falls apart. But that's why people think they can get by with shit. What you allow yourself and others to do, and I guess you're not allowing, but by omission of responsibility and accountability, or saying that certain people don't see things and didn't hear things and aren't aware of things, I can provide some receipts. You're giving people permission to do the same behavior. And the really interesting thing is when you do that, when the second person does the same behavior, they're not judged on the behavior, they're judged by who they are. You are. You're not like this, Jeff. You're not like that. Like what? Like what you've been okay with before? Yeah, I am. I'm a human being. I'm capable of being as flexible with my behavior as possible. The only limits that are set upon me are by myself. No one sets limits, restricting how I can react to something or say something to someone, piss someone off. Most people don't expect me to be homophobic or racist or misogynistic or any of those other cool words that we use, but I can be, and I can be dismissive about it. I can just sweep it under the rug because it's been done before and it's been accepted. So what's to stop me? Me. I stop me. Your behavior after a certain age is solely based on what you choose to do. I don't choose to be an asshole to people most of the time. Night, Melly. Have a good meeting with your pillow. Let's see. Mental notes scrolling. So then there's this whole cam up, cam up. Fuck, no one's gonna cam up. When that shit started today, we're gonna cam up, or we're gonna compare and cam this up, cam that up. It's been done before. No one's camming up. No one wants to see any of you, by the way. No one wants to see any of you. Here's the reason. Not because you're ugly, not because you're unattractive, not because we don't want to be scared into fucking Halloween, okay? It doesn't fucking change who you are. If you're beautiful, if you're ugly, if you're had a bad hair day, if you got a little acne breakout, if your eyes are crooked, if you've got, hair on your chin, it's your behavior that's the physical is just something to pick at you about. Because let's all admit, none of us are in our 20s anymore. No one wants to see you. Well, good question, RC. I think it's the intent. Like, why are you saying that? Okay, so let's see. Tim Cook, outgoing CEO of Apple, is gay. That's a statement. That's not a put down. He will tell you he's gay. I don't. I know gay people, I know lesbians, but I don't identify them as, well, there's Susan, my lesbian friend from high school. It just doesn't, it doesn't roll into the lexicon of like who they are to me. What it is, though, it's hateful when that's your comeback to somebody. Like, I thought we were okay with people being gay or lesbian, but now it's used as an insult. And when someone isn't, you're just trying to tear down that person. If you do it to a man, it's emasculation. If you do it to a woman, it's dewomanizing them. Your sexual identity shouldn't matter. Your behavior should. But when it's said in a context of like with the intent to hurt or to harm, then yeah, it's I don't I don't understand it. And then I ask questions and I don't get answers. So that that makes me think that no one deserves an answer for anything I say. And then other people think, oh well, Jeff's not answering. So the whole camming up thing, for fuck's sake, no one cares. Let's just recap that real quick. No one cares what you look like. No one's jumping your bones. No one wants to hook up with you. No one wants to, you know. Some people want to see a cam slip, and cam slips were brought up, and I'm like, really? Do any of us look good all the time? No one wants to see you. Okay. I didn't come here to check people out. Okay. That's damaged hand over there. He's over there right handed it, and he must have got caught in the zipper and cut himself. But no one's here to look at your Instagram. Most normal people, I would say. I can't say everyone. No one cares about your Instagram, your glamour shots. Look at my selfie. Yet no one cares. It doesn't change who you are. When this is basically a voice and word platform for most of us, all it is it's used against you because everyone has a non-flattering view inside of to them. Fine, whatever. It's just used as fodder. It's a distraction from actual conversation. Could you imagine someone having a very valid point, and then you find out that they, look like a bunch of mashed potatoes, and you're like, ugh, well, I don't know if I believe them. I don't know if I think like they do now because they look like that. I'll tell you, this happens a lot. This is kind of cliche, but I've seen it in real life. If a let's say a not good looking man who may not be as groomed and I use that in the like the grooming, like the hair and the body and stuff, not in a derogatory way that some people use it. If he's not well groomed and takes care of himself, and he goes up and talks to a woman, shut down, right? Disrespected. Usually followed up by, "Ew, leave me alone. I'm not like that. You can't flirt with me. Ew. I'm not that kind of woman." A really attractive guy with a nice car comes up, and the woman's like, "Hmm, interesting." Not all the time, but I've seen it happen. So again, no one and any woman that says cam up has already lost a battle. Cam up, I'm more beautiful than you. I've seen beautiful women in my life when they open their mouth, all that comes out is shit, and they are a shitty person. Nasty mouth, beautiful women, all the right curves, proper weight, healthy glowing skin, beautiful eyes, makeup. They're fit, you know, they're showing off the right things to attract men until they open their mouth and that pablum comes puking out and all their attractiveness goes, right, Karma? Right. Um, so yeah, please don't cam up in some kind of competition. No one's going to win. It's not that everyone's ugly, it's just no one cares. Your your thoughts, your opinions should not in normal society are not held to your beauty or your looks or attractiveness. Okay? If that's what you're fighting for at the ages that most of us are, 40s to 60s, some 70s, if that's what you're still fighting for, you've lost the battle. Okay? It's okay to age. Higher the number, consider it winning. A lot of people didn't get to make it to that age. So, yeah, no one can battle for not having can battles. Oh, look at me, I'm pretty. Look at me, I have cleavage. Ooh, look at me, I got my hair done. No one cares. Everyone gets old. Everyone gets uglier. If you're getting prettier as you age, and they say men get more, you know, ruggedly handsome or whatever. Sure, I guess maybe some women get more mature looking and have a dynamic about them that is attractive. But fuck, no one cares. Um, please don't, for the sake of like having looks battles. Ugh. It's like bringing back the losers of Miss America year after year till they win. Okay, at some point that gets uncomfortable and unsightly and embarrassing. Don't do that. It's nasty. What else happened? Oh, I got to get to this before I totally forget. So Miller posted something today in regards to Jason Callan, and um, someone posted. I don't know who this account is. I haven't seen it before. Something along the lines of because Jedi Miller harassed and bullied Jason, Jason has been in a mental hospital for 2 weeks. It references basically Miller going at Jason because he watched movies and was, basically stealing movies and not supporting the artists and blah yada yada. Okay, I think we've all heard that. Um, ok- if that's true, because I don't believe it, I don't think it's true. But on the off chance that it is, that's what he went to a mental hospital for? Because someone doesn't want him to pirate movies and steal movies and watch movies day of release in the movie theaters on some pirate site? That's what sent him to a mental hospital? I don't think he thinks that one through. That goes along with one of those excuses where he went to the hospital because he was bullied and he had low blood pressure, which ended up being a kidney and stone. So I don't know who this person is. It was a response to one of Miller's posts. That sounds really fucking lame. Not a good troll account. If it is true, my apologies to your excuse department. There are other things that I would assume, giving Jason's public statements about his life and home life, and I would think there'd be other things you would go to a mental hospital for. I'm not being cruel. I'm just saying. I don't think if someone said, "Oh my God, you watch that new movie on a pirate site and didn't go to the movie theater and spend $20, you're an asshole." I don't think that would send me off to the loony bin. Okay. I think other lifestyle issues, maybe feelings of inadequacy, not being able to, do certain things, health reasons. I think maybe those would send you into a mode like that. Uh, but then again, in and of itself, if that's true, which I don't think it is, if that's true and that affects you, maybe that is a good place for you to be because professional help will help you realize that you can't be that sensitive towards everything. We were talking about the Jason Callan effect, I think, earlier, and that reminded me. Um, that's just, I think it's a troll because it's not a name I recognize. Like if it was that Totemus guy, okay, I would I would put some weight behind that because he obviously has contact with him, whatnot. But this was a name I didn't recognize. Let me see if I can find it. I'll bet you I can. I can find anything, right, Black Eagle? Sorry, I saw something funny. Unrelated. Okay, so oh god, I don't want to hear your voice. It was under this post about Sony announcing the end of physical discs, and we go down. It's called the account is Enoch Theos, and somewhere there. Where's it at? Oh yeah, sin is in the eye of the beholder. They're talking about criminal activity and stealing movies. Stealing is never okay. Now Miller has said that stealing is okay if it's like you know been released to straight to DVD or whatever, straight to video. Weird. Um, a lot of things you call sin are not. Your opinion is just your opinion, not how the world really is. By the way, because of the harassment and bullying you, speaking to Miller only, did to Jason, he has been in mental hospital for over 2 weeks. That is a sin, sir. Sir. Turning your back on friends over small things. You were just using him anyway for your channel. No one who really cares for another person turns their back on them. You're a hateful, angry, abusive alcoholic, but still want people to love you. So that was the accusation. That basically, Miller's harassment over copyright material sent Jason to the mental hospital. Um, I don't believe it. It's my take on it. Very strange. That's the trigger. Damn. Fuck. Shit. Whew. Now, if I want to play with the troll, or if I want to play with the person that actually said this, see, this is where the words don't matter. Who says it? It's just still the same words, right? I would also ask, what about all the bullying and harassment Jason's done to people? Have some of them maybe? I mean, if we're going to start playing the blame game about harassment and bullying, have some people also been affected by his? Never have that part of the discussion. Weird. Let's see. Back to Phil's live stream. Trying to think if there's anything else. Uh, yeah, cam up, cam up. Let's go. People stepped down, people came up, back and forth panel thing. Um, anything else stand out? See, I was distracted, so I wasn't catching every moment. People go live when I'm trying to make dinner on purpose. There is, um, yeah, I'm out of coffee. No, I'm not. What's up, Daniel? It could have been a really kind of whatever Phil was drawing, but it was nice. I like that. He's very angry. Yeah, there's a lot of anger issues there. Yeah, police officer. That I mean, that would be the consensus with most people. If that is like that is, that would definitely. I mean, if I was visiting the psych ward because someone said I was stealing the copyright movies or playing music that I shouldn't play on my live streams, um, yeah, I would definitely be considering going back to the '80s, getting an Atari 2600 and just playing games all day. Not really, being online. That would be that would be one of those wake up calls. Like, oh shit. Now, if you said that was the last straw and it just upset him on top of everything else, okay, you got a little argument there. But that alone, ah, that's why I think it's a troll. That's why I think it's just a comment. See, Miller, I don't think you're an asshole all the time. Um, Sad, but I wish we didn't have to have mental hospitals, but I'm glad we do. I wish we didn't have to have it. I wish we didn't have to have surgeons that specialize on working on babies, but we do. It's necessary things in life that we need that I wish we could do without, but I don't think stealing. I shouldn't laugh, but stealing a movie, watching a pirated version of a new movie is cause to go get yourself checked in. I mean, it's a good weaponized attack. Ice cream machine. Shit. What was in the ice cream? They were lacing it with the good shit. The calm medicine. And first of all, okay, here's another thing. Here's another thing. Why I don't think it's true. Why I don't think it's anyone that knows Jason. Why would you tell someone else's business? What friend would tell someone's business like that if it was true? A I'm going to be away for a few weeks. I'm going to get some help that I need. Don't tell anyone. Hey, you're responsible for sending him to the mental hospital. Not a good friend. Kind of like a shit stirrer. I want to make you feel guilty. So whatever. We'll find out though. I guess I'm sure eventually it'll. Or he'll return and be like, someone was telling people that I was in a mental hospital. Well, none of us, the way I know of, someone, but no one was spreading it around. In fact, we said it's probably bullshit. And what's really bullshit is if it's true, you telling your friend's business with or without their permission, no one needs to know. It seems to be a personal thing. The only joke I'm going to make is if it is true, can we get a food review? Yeah. So to recap, today's live stream was non-eventful, I guess, of many expectations. There was calls for some of what trolls. I'm gonna give trolls some time here. There was some talk about Phil being uh, misogynistic, and I would say if you believe that, I will see you somewhere else calling out people that are misogynistic because it's the behavior that bothers you, right? Not the person doing it. This is where legitimacy comes into play. Like, I have seen people get by with so much shit because of who they were and who they're hanging out with. So, to these trolls that were asking Phil about his misogynistic behavior, um, my question to you is it the behavior or is it because it's Phil doing it? And if it's the behavior, okay, great. I will see you elsewhere calling it out, right? Because it happens elsewhere, right? Right. If it's just Phil, now do you see why you're not listened to? And because you're a troll, it's like two strikes against you because no one knows who you are. Your words have no weight. Does that make sense? I think it should. If you came in as, let's say, I don't know, mm, any male, any female, oh, let's just say anyone that we know of. Let's say Evelyn came in and said, Phil, I think some of these words that you're using are a little misogynistic, and I wish you wouldn't do that. Well, people know of Evelyn. Phil and her have been friends for a while. That holds a lot more weight than just some rando coming in and going, hey, ooh, 5 minutes of fame here until I get banned. Um, what about the misogynistic attitude that you have towards other women, Phil? Huh? 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 Like, okay, no one cares. But I expect to see you elsewhere, wherever that is. And from context, what I'm gathering is there was some question about whether I'm okay with people have asked for whether I'm okay with Phil's behavior at times. No, of course not. And I have publicly and privately talked to him about it. I'm the one that came up on panel one day and said, "What the hell are you doing?" I know Castro. Jamie, Jamie, Janie told me to go in the kitchen and make her a sandwich today. Can you believe that? Because I said I was going to go in the kitchen where I belong because I was getting ready to make dinner, and she said to make her a sandwich. And you get her under control, Castro. I don't got time for that. I will not be a I will not be an instrument of her misandry. Damn it, rude. I know, I know. Well, you can wait a long time. You ain't getting one now. Cat's Rule's going to take over. Cat's Rule is very upset. You can tell. I was like, wow, really? Is that all I'm good for around here? Sandwiching? I mean, first of all, I wasn't even invited up on panel. And then second of all, Janie's over here thinking that I'm just a kitchen help. No pickle. Oh, she beat you? Oh, that's sad. We need to talk about that. That'd be another live stream. Give her a pickle or give her a sandwich? Never mind. Um, is Phil misogynistic? I would ask Laura. I would ask the females in his life. Hey, do you feel that Phil is misogynistic towards you? Because remember, it's all entertainment, just for entertainment. Don't take anything I say or do seriously on the internet. Those disclaimers, right? That applies to Phil, right? If he so chooses to put that out there, just entertainment. Some people get entertained by it. I don't, but I'm sure some people do. When people talk about how women aren't this and that, and they shouldn't be certain places and do certain things, is that misogyny or yeah, misogyny, or is that just how you think? See, my next desk will have a dedicated snack drawer. I've already decided. 10 out of 10 recommend. Psych words. I wonder if you can get a Yelp review on them just from the drinks and snack drawers. Staff is very friendly. Snack drawers are always full, and the drinks are excellent and cold. Mm. I wonder if there is Yelp reviews. I should probably look later. Let's see. Back to Phil's live stream. So is Phil a misogynist? No, in my opinion. My opinion. See what I did there? Imagine explaining yourself. Wow. Um, does he say things that piss me off? Yes. Have I called him out on it? Yes. Are there live streams to prove that? Yes. On both his and mine. Hell, he got so flabbergasted I came up one time and called him out that he shut it down. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Imagine having people are talking about having balls today. It's like, well, women don't have balls, and it's weird when people say she has balls. I know it's a term, but just I don't watch those movies either. But it takes balls to go up to your. It takes more balls to go up to your friend and say, "Hey, that's wrong. Stop it. What are you doing? Think about what you look like right now." And to do it to a stranger. Trolls don't need any kind of like bravery or like you know chutzpah or any other words to make spittle fall out of my monitor. You just say it. It's fun and entertainment. Truly, it takes actual guts and courage to say to a friend, "Hey, the fuck are you doing? Why are you being like this? What's going on?" And then to follow up with them and say, "Hey, you okay?" Just calling someone out, not having a discussion with them is just half-assing it. It's probably the insurance, to be honest with you. It's like, oh, well, she has really good insurance. Get her the top tier snack drawer. Bob over there, he gets the bottom snack drawer. He has really shitty insurance. They're like paying in payments. Okay. See, I did online therapy for a few months, and I was a really good patient because they cured me of my misconceptions about things. But there's one thing I never told my therapist, and I'm going to tell you all right now. Her background was like a closet door or something. She put up those hooks, that strip, and then you have like three or four hooks. It was crooked. And I think as I was looking over her head to look at it, I wanted to say so many times, "Can you fix that?" Like, my deepest issues aren't the things we've talked about. My deepest issue is that that strip of hooks is crooked, but I refrained because then we would have had got in the whole like, "Are you OCD? Do you have issues with things that are out of place and out of order?" And I worked retail for 34 years. No, I don't. I just fix it. It was. Janie, it was. It was like everything else that we discussed had a solution to it, right? And just the reason for therapy was for someone else's opinions to come out and say, "Hey, have you thought about it this way?" Well, shit, no, of course I hadn't. Duh. But now I do. Thank you very much. This is great. Like I had a really good like 6 months, year, whatever it was. Can't remember. I feel like I should message her. See, now I'm wondering, was the camera crooked? No, the camera couldn't be crooked because she looks normally straight. Was the door crooked? I've seen that happen. I think it was just a hook, a strip of hooks. Hmm. I'm sure in her average day it doesn't bother her, but shit. No, I think one other thing that bothered me is she put her drink on the same side as her mouse. I'm like, you're gonna spill shit. But I said it in my head. I wonder. Hey, Dari D, what's up? Maybe she did. Maybe I failed that test. Man, that's diabolical. Damn, I am going to message her now. Tell me your deepest, darkest secrets, sir. Well, ma'am, first we're wondering if you're wearing underwear. Also, can you like cover that up? Because I can't think about my deepest, darkest fears with that distracting me. Did she do the whole basic instinct thing where she like crossed her legs and uncrossed them and crossed her legs again? Yeah, I'm non-confrontational. I didn't bring up the crookedness of her door hooks. He's not very fighty. He doesn't like confrontation. Oh, well, welcome to YouTube. Yeah, the cool thing is she never asked me. Like some of the issues were like YouTube related at the time because people were fucking weird. And she never asked like, "What's your channel name?" So I was waiting for that one. The idea what's going on. Yeah, mine dressed very Little House on the Prairie. I think it was long skirts. She didn't have her cleavage showing. She buttoned up. Um, makeup, hair, very well put together, like a professional. You know, much like she would probably dress in the office, which I don't know if she did in person, but she was, you know, professionally dressed. There was no distracting cleavage or whatnot. Boot and a boot. Not that I noticed. Shh. No, I didn't notice. Actually, she's very, very good, very professional, normal speaking. She didn't try to be all weird and clingy like my first one. Some people should not. Some people should not have the therapist they had. I think. Yeah, throw a blanket. Excuse me. Here, take this. I don't talk well to men. Like professionally, men are very competitive, even if it's not in the same profession as you. I found out. I don't know what it is. When two men get together, it's like a unsolicited cockfight, and I mean like with chickens, not with dicks. Um, it just seems weird. So that dynamic's ruled out. And I totally got over that whole thing where Selena, I think she was a therapist or something, Catwoman, that they're gonna like show up in a Catwoman outfit. That was a whole misconception. Well, some people wouldn't tell females. I talk better with females. Females listen better sometimes. Unless your name's Janie, she doesn't listen at all. Um, she just wants me to make a sandwich. I think for intelligent conversations, both are pretty equal, depending on who it is and what the subject matter is. Obviously, emotionally, women are more available. Uh, if you want to be in the jokey, men receive jokes better from other men. My experience. You doing your shit. Well, get the earplugs out of yours. Oh, I just remembered the story. It's a true story. I was a cashier. Guy came up. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He goes, "I'm good." And he set down this box from the pharmacy. Little, I didn't know what it was at first. I scanned it. I goes, "Is this it for you?" He goes, "Yeah, just those earplugs." Okay. So I took his cash, put it in the till, gave him his change back, gave him his receipt, turned around and put it in a bag. I noticed they were suppositories. He thought they were earplugs. Or he was the most straight-faced jokester I've ever known. Like, he was waiting for my response. I didn't respond. I was like, "You know what? That's a life experience you need." And they're not gonna last long. I mean, they're gonna melt, and you're gonna have waxy substance in your ears. I could have prevented uncomfortable ear trauma, but you know what? Just a retail clerk, I don't know anything. Maybe it would help. Maybe he's trying to get the shit out of his ears. I don't know. Janie, I'm not gonna fall for that one either. You heard me. I think it would depend on the situation. Yeah, he had suppositories that he thought were earplugs, or at least that's what he told me. Dirty's gonna puke. She's going to Ralph. Dirty, that was a thank you for putting that clip out because it made me laugh. the clip with Deanna and I discussing gaslighting, and just like, can you give me a definition of gaslighting? Yes, it's a movie. Um, not a definition. It's an example. The term gaslighting came from the movie. That's still not a definition. Like, what a- am I? So, if I'm gaslighting someone, I'm putting them in a movie. That was just so funny. I was like, we didn't get to. I don't think we got to the definition. I can't remember that entire sequence of events, but that was hilarious. Thanks for making me laugh. I need a laugh. Hearing all the fighting lately, it's just got me down, guys. Not really. I expect it. See, I prefer women doctors. Currently have a male doctor, and he's very efficient, which I guess is a thing now. Uh, but I think it's the office setting that he works in. I think he's one of those timer doctors, or when he's outside your door, he sets a stopwatch. And I challenge that naturally. I'm like, nope, sorry, dude. We're gonna listen to everything I have to say. Yeah, RC. So my mom was a stay-at-home mom for up until my high school years, and because I wanted to travel everywhere and compete, I she decided to help with money and stuff. But um, my relationship with my father grew after my mom passed away. So I had like 8 years of like all the conversations we never had. Like we did things together, but the conversations, as opposed to just like putting up Christmas lights together and fixing plumbing together and doing projects and going to, you know, movies and stuff. We did that stuff, but knowing him as a man more than just my father, like getting to know him, those conversations came in the last 8 years of his life, and I'm grateful for it. But yeah, I was more around my mom during most of the day. Earwax is so gross. And it's an unnecessary grossness. All right, I gotta go look for something. This is where I get Lindsey Graham passed away, if anyone cares, and wasn't here earlier. Um, I gotta look something up. No, I slept through Wingstar's live stream. I'm probably not gonna get a parking ticket now. What's his name? Oh, yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, I just had to check on something. You were your own primary caregiver. Yeah, yeah. Mom would. I mean, my mom is the reason that I am how I am today. Like most people think that I'm a neat freak because of the work I did in retail. No, those parameters were set when I was at home. Like when we put groceries away, the cans were facing forward. There was rotation. There was neatness. There was efficiency. Mom would get up at 6 o'clock, make me breakfast. I'd be out the door at six. What I had to catch the bus at 6:50. Yeah, so I'd be out the door by 6:40. Walk to the bus stop. Uh, while she was there, home all day. Uh, and I only learned this when I was like home for whatever or during the summer, I learned her routine was as soon as I left, she started upstairs, cleaned each room, swept, vacuumed, dusted, made beds, turned turned out sheets, whatever, gathered laundry, down upstairs clean, brought everything down, swept the stairs, dusted, the 5S, old bullshit, sort, sustains, clean, shine, whatever, all the way down the steps. She grabbed whatever towels and whatever miscellaneous laundry things were done. She'd throw in laundry down the basement. She'd go down, run that into the washer. That'd give her an hour. Well, roughly an hour. She would clean the living room, dining room, kitchen, make a shopping list. Hour done, she'd go down, put it in the dryer. There goes another hour. She'd clean the porch off. She'd do all this shit. I mean, this was something she would do every day in some fashion. By 12 noon, the woman was making her lunch, sitting down watching the new news with a sandwich, usually a Spanish sandwich or something, celery with salt, and an iced tea. Then after that, it was a nap time after, the first one or two soap operas, and then up to 4 o'clock, sometimes 3:30, depending on when I got home. She was always up when I came home, so her naps were short, but she always took a nap, and then up and at 'em to get dinner ready. Dinner was ready as soon as my dad came in the driveway. Mom was sitting outside on the porch chilling. Dinner was cooking slowly. Mom cooked everything slow. Um, as soon as as soon as mom as soon as dad came in, mom switched back to like housewife mode, and she'd go in and make sure the dinner was ready. And my dad would come in, drop his lunchbox on the counter, take his shoes off, do all the welcome home bullshit, and we'd sit down and eat. On super bonus days, she would walk down to the pharmacy, walk down to the grocery store, like a 3 block walk, bring groceries home. If she wanted to make something that we didn't have, bought at the store, we only went grocery shopping one time a week, and that was that was her routine. She was efficient, and I learned that, and I've built upon that throughout my years. There's time to do something while you're doing something else, and then there's time to relax. Like she front loaded her the frog that she had to eat that day. Everything was front loaded to the beginning of the day, and then afternoon and evening were pretty much hers. Very, very uh, noticeably unstressed about life. And I tell you, that stems from both my parents grew up in the depression, so um, there was for my mom, it was she wanted to have things that she didn't have as a child. So she liked the pretty things, and she took care of the pretty things. And it wasn't a disposable era of like, well, you can just get another one. No, you have to take care of the shit that you have. Things meant things to people, and instead of just as like trophies. When mom, you know, had very ornate vases and decor in her house, she took care of it. There's a lot of emotional value and sentimental value to some of the things she had because they've been passed down. Everyone took care of shit. We were taught to value things that we got instead of being, well, you can just replace it next. I can't imagine my mom understanding cell phones. Like, yeah, people actually go every 1 or 2 years and get a new cell phone. Her question would be like, why did it stop working? Well, no, they want the new thing. Well, how much better is it? Not that much. Why are they wasteful? Because of the Depression era, they didn't want to waste shit. We ate very well, but you were expected to eat and not just. There was no like make me something else. Yeah, she wouldn't understand. I actually had to go buy a phone. Like, remember when they went to from Pulse to Tone? Um, well, did we go to Sears? No, we went to the Ohio Bell store. There was an Ohio Bell store somewhere. Now imagine this. Imagine walking to a Radio Shack size store, but all they have are like phone and phone cords. We had to get a wall mount phone, right? Everyone knows this one. It's in the kitchen, had the 16,000 foot coiled cord where you could go around the corner and pretend like you were actually having a private conversation. You played jump rope with it, all that, right? So you had to go and buy. So we bought, let's see, there was one for my mom's room, there was one for the kitchen, there was one for my mom's stand by her chair, and there was one in my room because my dad got my dad bought me my private line. I had a separate phone line goes up to my room. Fantastic. You don't need apps. What do you need apps for? Yeah, I know. Like, I always get these notifications. I used to get these. I don't get them now. This app no longer works with this model phone. This software version. I'm like, oh, why? Hey, do you really think? Here's a conspiracy theory. I wish Phil was here. Um, do you think they took lead out of paint just so the signals could get through? Remember houses used to be painted with lead based paint? Do you think they just nixed the lead out so signals could get through and Superman could see what you were doing inside your house? Someone threw that out there once. I thought it was an interesting theory. Like, obviously, kids shouldn't be eating paint either. Feed your fucking kids, and you really won't be eating paint. But oh, they're curious; they'll do it anyway. Some people eat paint as adults on here on YouTube. But what if it was lithium-based paint? Would that help? I think it might. That'd be fantastic. Oh, there you go, Conklin. That's a good thought too. Yeah, it's like they're not buying our sugary snacky snacks because kids are just peeling it right off their walls. I can't imagine personally myself, one, eating paint chips. Two, if my dad saw me pull something off the wall, my ass would have been red. Anybody remember switches? Shit, ribs tasted too good. Well, I mean, when you're sitting there and you can't sleep, you're like, pick, pick, pick. Ooh, it snapped off. Mm, that really fills me up, weighs me down like lead. Okay. It's a theory. No one will tell us if they did it or not. Remember when you first got a router, a wireless router, and they told you if you have old style construction that the signals won't, go as far because the construction of the house causes the signal to not penetrate deep into the home. It's like, is that a good thing? I think. What was that? The hell? That's weird. Hang on, man. Wow. It's a 15, 15-hour late notification. All right. That's funny. I love my phone. It does weird shit for me. I mean, every kid puts toys in their mouth, right? Like you kids just slobber all over toys, but I don't know. Paint chips. Obviously, there was health reasons. I know that. That's the truth, like asbestos and everything. But was asbestos also blocking the signals? No, no. I think of it when I think of a home. I think maybe signals shouldn't be getting in because the worst signal of all is the UV light ray, right? We can't let that in anymore. You'll die if you get touched by the sun. That whole fearful thing of like UV light is bad for you. Stay away. Hide it. Like 5 minutes in the sun's not going to kill you. If it is, then we're probably closer to what we need. Yeah, paint had lead in it, according to theory. I don't think we. I think that was remedied before I was of age of reason. You kidding? You're a kidder. Um, yeah, but the whole. I don't know if I saw it on TikTok or Reddit or something, but they're like, "Do you think they took lead paint out of homes because they couldn't get signals in to spy on us?" Yeah, maybe. VeggieTales is here. Yeah, but see, there's some things we should not be remembering. Like, I'm just gonna say this, like, um, no one needs to remember all 50 states. Your brain wasn't actually our brain wasn't meant to do half the shit we do with it now. Um, but the way we use our memory is for memories and very few like facts. I remember mine. I remember my wife's. I remember my son's. Both my parents. Only because I had to fill out so many forms for all of them. It's like, okay. I think repetition did that. I wasn't like trying to remember it. Me and numbers have a weird relationship. I saw a friend from school's name in the paper, and instantly their phone number back in the day came up. I think kids should be able to identify all 50 states, like look at a map and fill it in. Why do they need to remember them? I think we like to load our brains up with facts and stuff that maybe we need, maybe we don't. I don't need to remember my mom's cookie recipe because I have a copy of it. I have copies of it. That's true. Yeah. I think a lot of people use their brains to remember everything, and I wonder if they're less emotional. Like I've always thought of it this way. The brain is the physical hard drive of the computer known as your body, and the cloud, that imaginary special place where things are kept and a whole bunch of other brains put together is your mind. Because your mind isn't a physical thing. It's that ethereal place that your brain connects to, but it's not. You can't take your mind out of your body. It's the invisible fortress of all things archivable. Yes, Janie, less emotional. You're very much less emotional. And I don't have to tell you why I think that, because then you might get emotional and prove my theory wrong. Um, yes. There's an in the chat. See, not true, Janie. I mean, not okay, no one is unemotional. I've never encountered an unemotional person. Yeah, imagine trying to remember something. I need to remember this for school. I used to put things in a file folder in my head, and somehow my brain was like, "Yeah, we translate that into you keep that." Oh, I bet, Angela. I bet. Man, can you imagine? It's like that hallway in the Matrix. The keymaster has to call the keys to it. Janie, I've never seen you emotional about anything. I'm kidding. So I was recapping your live stream from earlier since I wasn't invited to speak up on panel. I'm kidding. I was reacting to it in parts. I don't miss filing cabinets. I don't. I really don't. Now, I've done meditation where there's a hallway of doors, and you know, during classes we would have meditation where we at the beginning where we would take all the outside stuff that's happened to us in the day and put it away, clear our minds so that we could focus on training. And at the end of class, we would have a meditation where we put those things that we learned during class away, remember them and store them and keep them, and then go out and finish up our evenings. That actually really did help. You did art. Resolution is yours. You have resolution. Where'd you get resolution at? Did I miss part of it? That's right. I wasn't part of the conversation. That sucked though that I was making dinner at the time. I should have told my family, "Fuck this shit. We're not eating. Not until this live stream's done." My wife did say something like, "Do you want to pop on there?" I was like, "Nah. I want to eat. I want steaks." A private exchange. Oh, one of those. Mm, mm. Janie and RC and everyone else, we're not privy to the private exchange. Shh. I want to say that the Dewey Decimal System is used somewhere in the world just for nostalgic purposes. Janie, that's what I said. I was like, look, we had breakfast and we had lunch. I'm like, seriously? What library are you at? I think ours did away with the Dewey Decimal System. They did a really good job at labeling all the shelving, though. I don't go to libraries, though. They have books in them. I think it's basically just, well, at least the one library by us does the aisle shelf number. Aisle one, well, it depends on the section. It's broken up in sections, and then aisle shelf location. So aisle one, shelf two, location three. There's a back end system to it, kind of like inventory for a store. The Library of Congress classification is the primary system used by academic and research libraries, replacing the Dewey system in larger institutions. Many Public libraries are switching to the BISAC system, which organizes books by genre and topic, much like commercial bookstores. While the Dewey Decimal Classification remains common in smaller public and school libraries, the shift towards these new systems is driven by the need for more intuitive browsing and the ability to easily accommodate modern subjects. So, the Library of Congress classification uses a 3-digit number like Dewey. The BISAC subject headings are they group books using natural language in bookstore style categories like history, cooking. I think that's how my library down the street does it. European libraries use something called the Universal Decimal Classification. I guess it was derived from the Dewey. The Dewey. Are you okay, Janie? Micro jellyfish. Yeah. Janie's all wrecked now. She's like shooketh. Jeannie has been shooketh by the news. Didn't mean to ruin your weekend. F in the chat. Poor Janie. She should not be getting this news at 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever time it really is. In the back of my fridge. Shit, I thought I put in front. Yeah, when I woke up, Phil was live, and I was like, "Man, they always do this to me." Going live when I'm trying to sleep. So they tried to sneak one in on me. I know it's as long as it was. I guess I came in like halfway through. I came in for the good part, the art. Another lazy Sunday today. I don't think I'm doing anything today. No, I had to go to the store. People want to eat again. Oh well. If I stay up 3 more hours, I can just wake everyone up and go to the store. Stirring my Metamucil here. Okay. Not Metamucil. I feel bad that Janie's now going to have to protest in front of her local library. First, Lindsey Graham dies, and then Janie learns that the Dewey Decimal System is being trashed. That's what you need to get. You need to get yourself a card catalog, sir. No, they said he had a cardiac arrest. Where in the world is Mitch McConnell? That's my only question I have now. Also, here's a cheap shot joke at Gordon. Gordon cut his hand after breaking glass doing dishes, and he hates his life, feeling pain from my wound. Still, it's keeping me from doing things. Like, we don't need to know what you're doing. I am right-handed, doesn't care. And my injury is on the right hand. It feels like stinging pain. Well, F in the chat. I thought maybe you cut it on a zipper. Okay, that's my shot. You hate politics. Oh my God. No, Lindsey. No, Evelyn came in earlier and said Lindsey Graham had died. He's only 71 and supposedly had a cardiac arrest. Damn it, Janie! I almost choked to death. I could have died right here. I could have been the next Lindsey Graham. Um. All right, Conklin. Have a good night. Now, if I sit here and say, "Oh, I'm glad he's dead," are Republicans going to get mad at me? Because I don't wish that on him. I'm not glad that he's dead, but it was said by other people against Democrats. So again, the behavior thing versus the person that said it. That's my argument. That would have been acceptable too. Maybe he's trying to put it up as never mind. Break a leg. It's not a theater class, sir. If Conklin comes back with an injured leg, I am. We're going to have to shut Phil down. He's like the voodoo doll of YouTube. Fuck a cup. Yeah, if there's to be leg breaking, let it be someone else's. There's Conklin and Janie and Phil. That's three, but there's 12 people here. And I'm always amazed at the times that people are awake because it really does make you realize that you are globally available to people. Where's this Project Hail Mary at? Where can I find it? Do I have to cancel a subscription to buy another subscription? I hit my back tens unit, and ended up getting really sleepy and took an early nap. Felt great though. Now, Phil, did you watch it legally or did you watch it illegally? Because I hear that sometimes that can send people to the mental hospital. Ryan Gosling wakes up on a spaceship. Well, that's what he thinks. Thank God, thank God, Phil. Thank you for doing your part because you hate. What do you like, sir? Don't hate the space. If I bring space on the panel, will you come up and talk to space and explain yourself? I love space movies and anything to do with like the president, the White House, Secret Service, like those kind of movies, like the West Wing type stuff, White House Down. Space probably isn't as scary as most corners of the Earth. We haven't ruined space yet. We're getting there though. There goes Janie. All spoilers. It's on Hulu. Do I have Hulu? What do I have this month? Prime, not Prime. I have Prime. Two down is a great start. Phil, I don't understand. What's with the innuendos? Are you attacking me? I don't understand, Phil. Prime MGM. Oh, let me go look. I don't know. I am Amazon Prime. Yeah, look, it popped right up on for me. Watch now. I can watch it. Let me go right to the end. Oh, this is Espanol. Espanol? Espanol? Oh, brevity? Let's watch it again. Oh, okay. Where's the Superman music coming from? Weird. I paused the movie and Superman theme started playing. All right, Janie, go rest. I just skipped to a part where people are rubbing themselves, and I decided to turn that off because that's disgusting. God, Sunday after all. Okay, I guess I can watch it later. Yeah, I think I'm going to turn into Phil's here now, so I got to go. That might be a jab. Shots fired. Okay, bye. See how dismissive he is of me. It's a growing trend. Very exasperated. Just that easy, huh, Phil? Just to walk away like that. Oh wait. Damn, he's still here. Shit. I can take his wrench away and then give it back. Fresh wrench. A wrench refresh. All right, y'all be good.
Ting tang, walla walla bang bang. Ooh ee ooh ah ah, ting tang, walla walla bang bang. Ooh